Hello, and welcome to another episode of Chasing Mysteries Gardens. I'm Rebecca, and along with my wife Karen, we are on a mission to renovate and rejuvenate our little piece of earth. So today, we're going to talk about garlic scapes. What is this funny looking thing? This is actually the stem of a hardneck variety. It's the flower stem, and it curls around and it grows back up, and then this right here becomes the flower. So we don't want our garlic to flower because we want our harvest to be the actual bulb. So we're going to harvest all of these. Now what does harvesting do? Harvesting, then once you cut these off, they send the energy back down into the bulb and lets the bulb grow bigger, and that's what we want, a bigger bulb. So today we are going to cut all these off, and I'm going to show you a couple of recipes of what you can do with these things because they are delicious. So let's get out to the garden for the first harvest of the year, garlic scapes. It is incredibly windy today, so I apologize for any wind in the sound. So here is an example of a growing garlic scape. So there's all the way down to the ground, and it comes up, and then they kind of curl around, and then they'll grow back up. When they start to grow straight back up, that's when you want to cut them. We're gonna cut it as low as we can, so that would be right here. So I have this handy dandy cutter right here. So this goes on your thumb, this goes on to protect your finger, and we are just going to cut it as low as we can. And there is a garlic scape. So we have 20 of these plants, so we'll have 20 garlic scapes. So with these garlic scapes, we are going to make a garlic scape pesto and a garlic scape cannellini dip. And then, depending on how much is left, we'll probably freeze the rest. So in order to make the pesto, we also need some greens. So I am going to harvest some of our kale as well to add to the pesto. So it's not very big, but we don't need a lot. We'll just take some of these outer leaves of the kale. Leave the inner leaves there. This is really hard to do with the camera. So there's some of our kale. There you have it. I also decided to pick some spinach to put in there too because it is starting to bolt. So I actually need to harvest all of it. So we just got a little bit for this recipe, a little bit of kale, and our garlic scapes. So we have cleaned and washed our spinach and kale and our garlic scapes. So I had one left, and I wanted to show you that the most tender part of this is probably about 2 inches in the top part of this scape, and then about 4 inches on the bottom. But you can use the whole thing. If you're grinding it up to put it in the freezer, or if you are putting it into a pesto or a dip like I am, you can use the whole thing. It's just that if you were gonna fry this up in some olive oil and eat it just like this, then I would recommend about that much. All right, we are going to do the pesto first. So we need 2 cups of garlic scapes, a half a cup of olive oil, some walnuts, half a cup of walnuts, half a cup of Parmesan cheese, salt and pepper to taste, and then some kind of green. Now, traditionally you would use basil for this, but we're going to use kale and spinach, and this just cuts down the spiciness of the garlic scape. This has a bite to it, but it is a delicious bite. So I'm going to use my little KitchenAid mixer here, and it has a chop and a puree setting, and we're going to use puree. And the reason why I love using this is because it has a pour spout here, so you can pour the olive oil directly into that while the machine is running. So we're going to put, unfortunately it's a little small. We might have to do this in 2 batches. So we put our garlic scapes in here. And we will start to chop this up. And we have beautiful chopped garlic scapes. So I think I am gonna take some of this out. It did fill it quite a bit. We'll just do this a little bit at a time and get it all over the counter while we do it. Now I'm gonna this is to your liking, so I'm just gonna add a little bit for now. Fortunately, if it's not in just right, it doesn't like to run. Oh, that's looking good. Do a portion of the walnuts, a portion of the Parmesan. So the salt, pepper, Parmesan, walnuts, that is all to your liking. You can put in as much as you want. What the recipe I gave you is just where to start. Now I'm going to drizzle in the olive oil as it's turning. It's helpful to stop it and push it down every now and then. I think I'm going to add just a little more olive oil. Look at that beautiful green. So you want it to be kind of like a paste. Not too wet. This looks perfect. So let's give this a taste test. It's very spicy, like garlic spicy, which is good, but there's just enough kale and spinach in there to cut that back. I do think it needs a little more salt, so I'm going to add a little bit more, and then just a little bit more Parmesan cheese. Parmesan cheese is also salty, so you don't want to add too much. And then we'll just mix this up again. All right, Taste test number 2. That's better. The salt kind of takes that bite away just a little bit more. It's still there, but it's very pleasant. This will be really good on pasta. Mix this with some of the pasta water and you have an instant sauce. It'll be good on pizza. It'll be good on English muffins with an egg for breakfast. I'm sure that the uses for this are endless. You could also, if you're going to freeze it in cubes, you could also use this just in your regular cooking if you wanted to add extra flavor in whatever you're cooking. So we are going to store it in these half-pint jars, and these are enough for pasta meal, and it is more than enough for a pizza. All right, let's get this into jars. You want to make sure it's packed in there so that air doesn't cause freezer burn. And I go all the way to the top. And there we go. I will clean this rim and then put a lid on it. So out of this recipe, I was able to get 2 half-pint jars plus a little something extra for Karen to taste when she gets home. Now we're going to clean up this machine because we're going to use it again to make our cannellini dip. All right, everything is cleaned up, and now we're going to make our cannellini dip. So what we need are 2 cans of cannellini beans, and I went ahead and rinsed and drained these to get all of the can juice off. Again, don't know if these are all going to fit in here. So we'll do a part of them. 1 cup of garlic scapes. We'll do just a little bit of the parsley. And then we're going to add about half the water, so about a 1/4 cup to start. A little salt and a little pepper. And we will get this pureed up. All right, now just like the pesto, you want to drizzle in some olive oil. All right, let's see what this looks like. That looks good. It's a little runny. I probably shouldn't have added all the water. But it still looks good. All right, let's taste this one. Definitely needs more salt, more pepper. But that is delicious. It's creamy, it's garlicky. That's delicious. I think I might add a little bit of that Parmesan cheese. That is perfect. That'll be great on crackers, on toast. If you have a hot loaf of bread, it'll be great on that. This is a really good dip. We are going to put this into our fancy plastic bowl because we are going to eat this for snack. It is definitely something that will leave you with garlic breath. And you probably don't want to eat too much at a time or it'll give you a stomach ache. But it is a great way to use up those garlic scapes in a way that's just not pesto or sticking it in the freezer. All right, there we go. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and also don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more. And as always, Suki Suki. Love the earth, love yourself, love each other. Till next time.